This is Chessnut Go, the newest board from Chessnut. It's going to be released on May 29, but you already can get the first impressions. Let's unpack it together. I'm very excited because look at how small it is, how light it is. I can already feel it. I mean, that's all you get. So the pieces and the board are all inside. I mean, this is the most portable chessboard, smart chessboard I have ever seen. Let's unpack it together. I really like the form of it. I mean, it's very convenient to take it with you. And by the way, I'm gonna take part in the Munich Open Chess Tournament starting on Sunday. So I'm gonna take the board with me probably. Let's see if I enjoy it, to analyze, to prepare for my games, because, well, that's what you use the board for. It's very, very easy to take it with you. Oh my God, it's so small. Let's just take a look at it. That's the board. I have never seen such a small, portable and light board to take with you. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's see how it looks with the pieces. So of course, as always, you get a quick guide, and that's a very useful thing. It has all of the information you need to connect the boards to Chessnut app, because it works just like all of the other boards from Chessnut. You already know. I mean, it's very, very easy to use, easy to navigate. So let's see. As well as the charging cable, as always, USB Type-C, very convenient, very easy to use. And I normally use just my mobile phone charger, so I don't need too many additional chargers, but it's always nice to get everything you need inside of one packaging. Okay, and here are the pieces. Those are the black pieces. Yeah, and by the way, very, very important detail about this board, it's magnetic. So you're not worried about the pieces going to fall when you are on your way. You can play in the train, for example, and not be worried that the pieces are going to fall. That's not what I expected. Okay, let's try it one more time. So it works up to a certain point, and then something crazy is going on. The pieces start to fall apart. I suppose I was too optimistic about it. So it has the magnetic board and the pieces. I mean, you can feel it, but it's kind of a lousy connection. So you don't need to over press it. Okay, now we have everything we need. Let's get rid of it. But I can say this is very useful to take it with you. I mean, it's soft. You can feel the material here, very nice to use, and very, very portable. That's the main thing we need about it. But now let's focus on the pieces. Here is the board. Let's try once again our test. Now you can do it up to a certain point and everything feels great, but yeah, then it starts to fall down. But I guess it should be enough for most of the use cases. I mean, I hope you are not doing with the chessboard what I'm doing here. I'm just testing it. And another test I wanted to show you is the comparison of the size, so that you understand how big or small it is, comparing to my all-time favorite board, the Chessnut Eva. Here is the Chessnut Eva. I mean, I enjoy, I love using this board for my trainings, and here is the comparison with Chessnut Go. So I would say it's approximately 1.5 times smaller than Chessnut Eva, but yeah, not more than that, because if you don't compare it, it looks like smaller than that, but in comparison it feels not that bad. So of course you need to compromise something here. It's a very portable, very light to take with your board, but at the same time it comes with a cost of a smaller size comparing to the Chessnut Evo or of course the tournament full size board. Here is the comparison of this size. So here is the knight from Chessnut Evo, here is the knight from Chessnut Go. Yeah, once again, I guess you can compare 1.5 times difference. Here is the pawn, roughly the same, but at the same time, I mean, we are gonna test it right now, how it works, how it feels when you play the game. But I can say it's like too small not to make use of the pieces, not to understand what's going on the board. So let me play a game connected to the Bluetooth. By the way, it has the pretty much the same navigation parts as always, as we are used to with all of the Chessnut boards. We have the power button. Yeah, we just press it and now it's working. And then we have the plus button to start a new game. And of course, we need to attach it to Bluetooth to make sure it's connected to the phone or laptop so that we can play online, so that all of our games are saved, so that we can play against the chessbots. Okay, let's connect the board to the Chessnut application. All you need to do that is to connect to your Chessnut app. You can do it from your phone or, of course, from your laptop, whatever you like to use. So I'm doing it with my phone now. All I need to do is press this Bluetooth button. So we have here the Chessnut Go, we have here the battery life. By the way, with all of the Chessnut boards that I have used so far, and I have pretty much used all of them, the battery life is fantastic. Of course, the Chestnut Evo is the lowest possible time because you have an actual screen there, quite a big one, so it requires much more of battery life. But still, I can really enjoy training on it and not worrying that much about charging it. And with all of the other boards that don't have a real screen, the battery life is amazing. So you can basically forget to charge it in many games and don't worry about it at all. Okay, so now we have connected it. Let's just try to play a game. Just press play a game. You choose a level. I normally always play against level number 5 because it's so strong. Let's make 10 minutes plus 5 seconds and just go for it. Okay, so somehow I'm playing as black. Our opponent plays e4 and I'm playing d6. Yeah, I already feel that the pieces are magnetic. You feel it with every move. But I also feel that it's pretty convenient to play. I play my all-time favorite opening, the Philidor Defense. If you don't know it, I mean, I recommend it to you so much, an incredible one. So our opponent goes into the endgame, and as always with chestnut boards, when it's a check, you hear this sound. You can, of course, turn it off if you don't like it, but it's like an alarm. If in case you miss some check, that could be very convenient. By the way, you also have the notation here, because that is a problem for some new players with chestnut boards, that with chestnut Pro, with chestnut Air Plus, you don't have the notation because it looks, well, it looks more expensive, more fancy, but for some new players, it might be a difficulty here. You don't have such a problem. Bishop d2 is kind of an interesting move, not like one of the very active options. Let me start with c6, because c6 is always very useful in all kinds of the Philidor endgames. Bishop c4, yeah, very normal move, attacking the f7 pawn, and here I prefer just to play king to e8. So c6 is important because this knight has to be stopped from going to b5 or d5. For example, now knight b5 would be a huge problem for me, but with the pawn on c6, I don't worry about it. Knight goes to f3. Now I have to play bishop to d6, because if I play the normal knight to d7, then knight g5 comes with a devastating effect, attacking the f7 pawn. So bishop d6, a4, opponent immediately stops the move b5. By the way, maybe I could have played b5 immediately. I'm not sure, like normally you don't do that early, just to avoid any troubles, but with this bishop on d2, maybe I had time for it. Anyway, let's just continue the development. Knight goes to d7. Yeah, now it's castles. So that is how you see the moves. You see the indications once again, as we are used to with the smart board. You see the indication from where the piece goes and where it should go. In case of a doubt, you always have it on your screen, but I prefer just to focus on the board, don't care about anything else, and enjoy the game. But you need the screen, of course, to be able to see the time situation. This is like the important thing you cannot see on the board itself. Okay, long castles. Now there is some pressure against this bishop on d6, but maybe I can even play king to e7. Why not? I'm protecting the bishop, and I'm improving my king's position, opening up some space for the rook to go. h3, yeah, quite a useful move for him. Maybe I'm gonna just play Yeah, either knight to c5 immediately. I have to be careful with some bishop g5 ideas, though. So let me start with a5. a5 is always very useful to stop the b4. Yeah, he plays bishop to g5 immediately, and now bishop f7 becomes a very important threat. So every time your opponent makes a move, try to understand what is the idea, what he wants to achieve. Try to understand all of his ideas, because not only he's improving his bishop's position, and that limits my knight's opportunities because the knight is pinned now, he's also attacking, opening up his rook, which attacks the bishop on d6, and that makes bishop f7 possible. So you see how connected that all is, and you need to be aware of that. So I wanted just to remove my bishop to c7, and now the knight is finally free to go to c5. Yeah, my opponent has a beautiful development. By the way, that is exactly what you should be aiming in every single one of your games, to develop the pieces like that, find an active square for all of them, fight from the center. That's the part of the board where most of the important actions are gonna happen. That's all very good, but my position is also very solid. I'm playing knight to c5. Okay, bishop e3 immediately, and you see how fast it works with Chessnut. That is something that was always very surprising for me, that it works so smoothly and so fast. I don't experience any troubles whatsoever. And you see that's the same with the Chessnut Go, the most portable, smart chessboard, but at the same time works very, very efficiently. As far as now I can test it. Okay, can I take on e4? Probably not, because my opponent is ready for it. Yes, I have more attackers, but once I take, he exchanges once, he removes his bishop. By the way, maybe that's a little bit of a challenge, because there is no good square for the bishop to go, but let's say it disappears somehow, then both of those rooks are attacked and my king is in the center. That might be very, very dangerous. At the same time, I have to admit knight c4 seems to be very tempting, because if not that, then basically I need to go back with my knight, which is not something I want to do. If I take, I have to only take with the c knight, because if I take knight f takes e4, then bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, and then knight takes e5, and that might be some troubles, although even there it's not so clear. So anyway, if I take with this knight, knight c5 to e4, what can happen to me? Because I really don't see that square where the bishop can go. That gives me hope. Maybe some crazy combination starting with knight takes e5 would be possible using this e line and the pin. Let's see what's gonna happen, because I really want to make the most active move, and if I lose, I lose. At least I know that I have been playing active, and that is what I recommend you do in your games as well, because so many times you are rewarded for being active, and that's really cool. Okay, maybe now I get the point. So my knight doesn't really have a good square to go either, because I would love to go back to f6, but then bishop c5 check is very annoying, and I need to spend yet another tempi. And then e5 pawn is also hanging. And if I go to d6, then I'm not defending the e5 pawn anymore at all. Yeah. And if I play f5, maybe I should play f5, because at least I provoke him to exchange his bishop for a knight, and without, well, at least one very active piece, for him it's going to be simpler for me to deal with the threats. Of course, I'm going to lose that e5 pawn, but I'm going to get some time. Yeah, I like this idea, why not? He still cannot go anywhere with the bishop. Okay, he plays g4. Yeah, so he threatens to take on f5, and when I take back, he plays bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, bishop c5, or bishop g5, and then he wins the bishop with a rook. So that's a challenge for me. I can just play g6 and reinforce the same idea. Do I have any alternatives to that? Probably not, because all of the problems remain the same. Well, I can take on g4. That is something to consider. Bishop takes e4, I take on f3. Yes, he has some very annoying checks, but I do have this f7 square now to hide. Can I survive there? Because if I can, then h3 pawn is going to be weak. I'm going to bring all of my pieces, and I'm going to be at least a pawn up. That feels very tempting. Maybe his idea is f takes g, knight takes e5, but actually just bishop takes e5, bishop takes e4, and I can even just take on h3, or use the time to, I don't know, continue my development, rook f8 or something. Yeah, once again, let me take this risk, take on g4. Maybe the idea is, no, he just takes back. Ah, okay. Yeah, he actually just takes back. Somehow I have underestimated it. And now I'm in real trouble, yeah. I can see that coming. So I should have just played g6 and yeah, go on with it. But now he just takes back. By the way, very important, always take a look at all of the opportunities your opponent has, not just the most obvious. I was only calculating what happens if he takes, what happens if he jumps with the knight, but just simple recapture back, and now my knight is once again in trouble. And I don't have, maybe intuitively I thought bishop g4 should be my idea, but just bishop takes e4 defending the knight. Okay, now the knight has really go somewhere. I guess f6 is the only square, because if I go to g6, the knight takes e5. Yeah, in all of the cases, it's not nice for me. So also I don't exchange any of the pieces, as in case of bishop takes e4, which makes it even more difficult. Maybe I have one trick in mind. But probably it's not gonna work. Let's do it anyway. So knight f6. By the way, I have only 2 minutes left, so I need to speed up. First of all, bishop d6, can that help me to avoid all of the troubles? Takes, yes, there is a bishop takes h7, but I don't care about the pawn, just king c7. And then he can also, well, wait, the bishop is going to be hanging, so that's even better. He might take on e5 instead, but then once again I'm gonna hide on c7 and hope for the best. Yeah, let's do that. Ah, rook takes e5. Yeah, I'm always missing something very dangerous. Okay, now it seems like it's close to an end. Into d7 is my only move. And another check. Yeah, now I'm losing the bishop. That's devastating. So you can see this level number 5. I feel like I should have chances when I'm fully focused against it. But like that, just talking about the board and expressing my feelings, the computer just destroys me without any chances. In c7, bishop takes. Yeah, now I cannot even hide because it goes back, and then rook e7, and I'm busted. Yeah, it's just checkmate coming. Maybe king a6 is the only chance. And after bishop d3 to play d5, but still my king is not going away with it. X. Wow, even bishop takes b5. Let's see, I mean, I have to take. Probably some checkmate is coming. Wait, what? Ah, rook d6. Not bishop d6. So you should be a little bit careful with those indications. I have seen the square where the bishop, the piece should go, and I assumed it's bishop, but you also need to see the second indication from where the piece is going. It's very important. Yeah, rook d6 is an incredibly powerful move, because now seems like checkmate is coming in a few moves. I basically don't have any defense against it. Maybe knight d7, because I cover both rook to b6 and attack the e5 rook, but in that case probably knight d4 is just winning. Knight d4, king c4, b3, king c3, and rook e3 checkmate. Yeah, seems like there is no way to avoid the checkmate. So whatever, let me play bishop takes g4. Back, king goes to c4, and game over. But what is the move? So many indicators immediately. Knight to d2, okay. Yeah, that is a cool checkmate in that. Okay, now let's try to play a game on chess.com against the real opponent using Chessnut Go. So to play online using the Chessnut Go board, all you need to do is click on online button, choose chess.com or lead chess. You're choosing chess.com for now, and then you're relocated to the chess.com account, provided you have already logged in. If you didn't, you just log in, and then you click the play button. Yeah, 3 minutes would be too harsh, I guess. Let's try a 10-minute game and press play and see who is gonna come. Okay, we have here a very strong opponent from India, almost 2400 rated, and actually I'm playing as white, so not waste any time and make my move. So the idea how it works is basically the same. You make your move and it appears magically almost on the board. And then your opponent would make his move, and once again you see this indication. So let's see if I can cope with playing a real 10-minute game without actually getting a lot of advantage, because of course I need to make that move on the board for my opponent. That is something you cannot avoid. As long as the move is not magically happening by itself, you need to do that. Okay, b5, let's play c4 and try to be as active as possible. We are wide, so we have to do that. We have to try to attack our opponent. Takes on c4. Wait, I guess here I can just play knight to c3, right? Preparing the move e4. e4 is always the move I want to make in such a position, because I get a full control of the center. Then I can just normally pick the pawn on c4 back and continue my development. Okay, my opponent tries to stop that. That makes sense. So how do I make e4 possible? Now that the queen is on a5, he's gonna just take it. So maybe I just play bishop d2. Simple as that. And then prepare the move e4. At least, well, a new piece is getting developed, and it's potentially some discover attacks possibilities for me. That's why he goes back. But now my pawn is already protected, so I can just play queen to c2 and once again prepare the move e4. Knight a6. Okay, that's important. Knight b4 is pretty annoying, so I need to make another preparing move. That's called prophylaxis in chess, when you always try to understand what your opponent is trying to do and you are trying to prevent that. What I don't like is that my opponent somehow creates so many threats that I can't really focus on what I want to do, namely play e4. He constantly creates some difficulties for me. I don't like that. Now the b2 pawn hanging, and once again I need to do something about it. Maybe I can play knight a4. That would be a counter threat. Queen goes somewhere, my pawn on b2 is protected, and then I get time to play e4. But very important here, knight a4, queen b5, e4, knight takes e4 variation. Because if I take back with the queen, then queen takes a4, but I hoped bishop takes c4 would save me here. I'm attacking the queen. If he goes back, I'm just taking the knight for free. Yeah, that seems to work. I don't see any moves that can help him there. Okay, then let's go, because I desperately need to make e4 and bishop c4 appear on the board. If I continue playing like rook b1, I feel like that might be way too passive. Okay, queen b3. Once again, something I completely miss. Yeah, that is very, very annoying. Because d5 is also hanging. Now, seems like I have to take, otherwise I lose yet another pawn on d5. Yeah, then it means I should have played rook to b1 after all, because at least the knight on c3 would be protected. So now I have a choice between taking on b3 and playing rook c1. In both cases, I'm gonna lose the d5 pawn, but maybe I'm gonna get some initiative. I'm gonna play e4 with the tempo, then bishop takes e4. This knight on a6 is not ideal, and development is far from over. So if I take, he takes with a pawn, then maybe I have knight c3 back. Still going for e4, but yeah, endgame is not something I wanted to achieve. How did I miss queen to b3? I only thought about queen to b5. Okay, anyway, I need to speed up here, so let me play rook c1. That at least brings a new piece to the game, and I always want to develop all of my pieces as fast as possible. The problem is I still don't really threaten to play e4 or anything. Maybe queen takes c4 is something I can play. Yeah, then I also attack the c5 pawn. Let's see what he does. I'm a little bit behind on the clock, which is not surprising because I like to think about chess, especially when I am about to get in trouble. Yeah, queen b3 is such an... When you look at it, it seems like a so obvious move, but I haven't thought about it at all. I was blind to it. Okay, knight takes d5. And I guess I have to play e4, otherwise I don't have anything at all. I need to bring my bishop. He can take, but that's fine. he goes back to f6, then I can even play e5 and then bishop takes c4. Okay, so I'm 1 pawn down, but I hope to have some initiative for it, some compensation. That's what you should do if you want to win a chess, even if it seems like you're in trouble. You need to still fight, to still create some threats. That's the most important thing, to fight for the initiative, to create those problems for your opponents. You want to make your opponent's life as miserable as possible. Knight to b6. Okay, that's bad, because he's provoking me to take, and then his structure would be better. Yes. Wait, I have queen takes b3, pawn takes, and knight c5. I like that. Let me do that. Because I get at least 1 pawn back, and hopefully the b3 is going to be a weakness in the long run. To take, and I take on c5. So as for the experience using Chessnut to play, I can so far say only the good things. Yes, the board is small. You need to take that into account always. But other than that, the moves are working fine. The pieces are easy to use. I like how they look. I mean, I don't experience any difficulties here. The only difficult I experience is my bad play, but that's my problem, not Chessnut Go problem. Yeah, I guess I once again missed something, namely knight to a4 with a fork, and my b2 pawn is in big trouble. Yes, I can get the a7 pawn with rook a5 and rook a7, but this b3 pawn becoming a huge, huge monster. Maybe almost works. I'm thinking about knight a4, rook to b5, takes, knight takes b2, and then bishop to c3. It seems like the knight is trapped, but he has, yeah, he goes for it. He has a6 in the end of the day. And then I have to give up my bishop, because otherwise he's going to play knight a4 back. Yes, I can take on d7, take on b2, but he's going to get this protected passer with a5, a4, and that is just a huge, huge advantage. Should I go for it, or should I play rook a5, knight b2, and rook a7? Then the knight is still doesn't have any moves, but he can still play knight a4, because when I take it, he plays b2. There is no way to stop b1. But maybe I can play, when he plays knight to a4, just bishop to d3. b2, just bishop to b1, or castles, or king e2. That seems more or less fine. Yeah, let me do that. Let's leave more pieces on the board and try to trick him somewhere down the road, because, well, clearly the position is much better for black. But he still doesn't really have the development. I mean, 2 of his pieces are very active. There's knight, there's rook on b8, and there's a bonus, a huge, huge pawn on b3. Very nice bonus, by the way. But apart from that, all of the pieces are still standing on the starting squares. That's my hope. Not sure what is he thinking about. He has to take on b2, otherwise knight is hanging, you're not going back. There is no way to protect it. Maybe he's worried that he's gonna lose the knight there. Bishop b5 now, still knight a4 works, right? Bishop takes, b2, bishop c2 is the only way to stop it, but then b1, and I not only lose the bishop after bishop takes b1, but rook takes b1, and I'm losing the rook on h1. That variation doesn't work for me at all. But maybe I can just leave the bishop on b5, like knight takes b2, bishop b5, knight a4, just king e2. Now I'm threatening to take. If you play knight c5, what do? I play rook c1, but then d6. Ah, wait, d6 is not a move. So a6 is a move he has to make. Then I have rook takes c5. Yeah, that actually might work. What if he plays a6 immediately? I take on a6, he takes, I take, he plays rook, knight c4, I play king e2, I'm still in time to stop it. But that's basically the same as if I take on a7 immediately, so what's the point for me? Probably I should just take the pawn and then still have my bishop as a defender. Okay, I'm still a pawn down now. With all of that, tricks, I'm still in big trouble, and this extra pawn is this b pawn, which is going forward. It's already very dangerous. Let's see if I can stop it. What I like is I'm really not that behind in terms of the time, just 1 minute. That's good. But I still need to speed up to have some time for the most important part of the game. At least now it's relatively simple. Knight a4, I play bishop d3. Maybe somehow he wants to wait with the move knight to a4, because that would stop me from developing my piece. If I play something like bishop c3, that's... No, that's actually possible. Bishop to c3, knight a4, I can just play rook takes a4, and b2 I can sacrifice the bishop back, but I have won the pawn in the process. That should be fine for me. But bishop c3 is kind of a threat. What else can be on my agenda? Something like knight d4. Seems a little bit slow, but maybe it can help too. But I literally see no reason for him not to play knight a4. That would save his b-pawn, and he is able to remaneuver the knight back. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Chessnut Go board. For me, it feels very exciting. That's, by the way, very new, the newest version, the newest board the Chessnut has made. It's going to be released on May 29th, so very, very soon. And as always, you get a huge discount if you use the Journey to Grandmaster promo code. Maybe for this board, the discount won't be that huge because, well, the board itself is one of the most affordable, maybe the most affordable. I have seen that the price is going to be less than $200. And for the smart board, it's really affordable. So I hope you're going to enjoy, and that's going to be one of your favorite products. And of course, I feel that I'm gonna take it with me to the tournament with me, because it's gonna help me to analyze the openings, to prepare for my opponents without taking this heavy board with me, which is very difficult to do. Okay, e6. So we are going down this line with bishop c3. Yeah, the rook on b2 would be pretty active in the end of the day, but I also have rook a8. Yeah, I guess I should go for it. I don't see any other move. Anyway. Ah, okay, bishop c5. That is an intermezzo move. That is what he was thinking about. Yeah, that changes a lot, because now he's in time. He's in time. Maybe I should have played bishop to f4 instead of that, to provoke d6 and to make sure his bishop stays passive. That's very annoying. Very important intermezzo move. Don't have any choice. I have to still play rook a5. Wait, maybe I have... No, yes, d6. I thought about playing rook c4 in the end of the day, attacking the bishop on c5 and the bishop on c8 behind it. But he just has d6. So I'm still getting my pawn back, but the resulting position won't be good for me. Okay, that's not what I expected. Just wants to save that pawn, because... Wait, rook b5 is possible. My rook is protected there, but he wants still to play knight to a4. Well, at least I have to do that. If I can block the b file, that's what I should do. We are equal in terms of time, 2 minutes 40 seconds. I feel like my opponent is not really playing it perfectly, so I might have my chances. Knight a4, I have bishop takes g7, rook g8, I have bishop e5. At least I'm creating some threats. Okay, maybe I have missed something. Ah, that's knight d2 I have missed. But maybe I can play king d2. So if I take on f2, then there would be knight d1, knight c3, attacking the bishop, and then b2. Still can stop the pawn, but maybe just king d2 right now, because the rook is hanging. Yeah, I like it, and the knight is hanging as well. It feels much better. How do you defend all of the pieces? Because after rook takes b5, bishop takes b5, the knight has no moves. And now I'm already attacking the knight. You cannot ignore it. And if you play knight a4 now, I just take the rook. And the bishop on c3 is nicely protected by the king. No, I think bishop takes f2 is a mistake. He lost the momentum. Somehow he was having the entire advantage, the entire initiative as well. Bishop c5 was a very great move, very great intermezzo, but bishop b6, like never go back. Use the Fischer rule, never go back. Instead, just focus on going forward. Okay, my opponent is also getting low on time. I guess now he's realizing that he spoiled the entire position, and I don't see any way out for him actually. Should be 7, yeah, but now I'm just taking on b2. Well, I should go for it. That's my chance. He's not gonna give me another one. Maybe I could have even played bishop takes g7, but that feels too crazy. Let me just, or maybe just take on b3 to avoid. Yeah, I guess that's the simplest. Yeah, there are some disadvantages that my bishop is going to be hanging after bishop e4, but maybe I can play bishop c4. No, d5 is very annoying. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done it. Wait, maybe bishop b5 is the move. Bishop b5 and then a4, or rook to b5. To avoid the pin. Yeah, rook b5 feels good. Because if he takes, I just take back and play a4 and everything is great. If he doesn't take, well, at least I avoid the trouble and get my time. All I need is like play bishop e2 and yeah, he's making me doing that. Rook b4 is another idea, but then yeah, I should have played rook b4 immediately. That would attack the bishop. And now if I play rook b4, he has bishop c5 back. That's very unfortunate. Okay, let me take then. I have just 1 minute on time. And play bishop to c1. No, bishop c1. Okay. Hope it's gonna work, because I really want to stop rook b1 and spin in my bishop. So that's why I hope for it to work. 25 seconds for him. He's not really speeding up. 6, yeah, bishop d3 is the move I dream to make. e5. Okay, let me... Yeah, e5 is coming. How do I continue my development? I don't see a move suddenly. We play rook f1. Maybe king e2. King e2 should be my move. Somehow make space for my pieces. Yeah, wait. I cannot do that. Let me play. No time. e4, c2. Completely lost it. 5 seconds. Yeah, now no chance. Seconds. Yeah, when you are low on time, I should have played much faster. No, timeout. Okay, when you're very low on time, you should not just allow that. Somehow I got panicked here. It felt like everything is okay, but still very difficult to develop my pieces, and this e5, e4 idea is coming, and yeah, a little bit not enough time. This final position, he should have very good compensation, I guess, but still I have chances. Knight a3 maybe, or just a4, a5, push it when it's alive. Anyway, that's the experience you get. I pretty much like it. Of course, when I'm at home, I prefer to get the Chessnut Evo. That's my favorite board. I have everything. I have a big screen there. I can download my books. By the way, if you haven't seen the full review of that board, I definitely recommend you do, because it's so amazing. But when you need to go to a tournament, when you need to go somewhere to a chess club to play with your friends and save all of the games, or to play online somehow when you are not at home, this is your solution. You can take it wherever you are going on a trip. I mean, that would be fantastic. It's really so easy. I mean, very nice experience, but just be careful not to be over optimistic with the magnetic pieces, because at some point they start to fall, as you could have noticed from this video, but it works very good. Battery life is also great, and of course, you can get a huge discount with the link in the description. Definitely take advantage of that. As for the drawbacks, basically the main one is, and the only one I have noticed, is the same as the biggest advantage of this board, the size. So it's cool that it's easy to take it with you, but it's pretty small. So comparing to like a full-size tournament board, it's very, very small. So let me know in the comments what is more important for you, a portability of the board, affordable price, or the size of it. And in this video, the full review of Chessnut Evo, everything you need to know about this amazing board.